Much, guys. And the Chiefs Esports Club are the first team of the International Wildcard Qualifier to make it to the finals. They win a best of 5, they're going to Worlds.
That's exactly right. A single best of 5 away from Worlds. Make sure you raise your koalas, everybody, because we've got an Oceanic representative in those finals.
Yeah, we certainly do. But first, it's time to check in with the Oceanic hype train. It's still on the rails.
Thankfully, still on the rails, of course. We just saw the Chiefs dismantle their opponents in that last game. Froskerin said it on the desk. One of the most convincing games and one of the most clean-cut and amazingly performed and processed games from the Chiefs that we've seen to date.
Yeah, phenomenal play from the Chiefs. We're actually going to take a quick look at the standings. As you can see, Oceania's the Chiefs Esports Club in first place at 4-1.
Yeah, following them, tied for everything else ever, is the rest of them at 2-3. Now, the most important thing to note from this is that the Chiefs Esports Club takes on Dark Passage in the next game. And if Dark Passage lose that game, if Chiefs Esports Club win, they're eliminated from finals contention.
So that will be an interesting setup to see if that works out in the Chiefs' favor. Of course, Bangkok Titans and Detonation FocusMe will be playing again later today, and that will decide that last spot, as we only have 2 games left of the IWCQ.
Yeah, definitely. It's all coming down to the wire. We've had the red side winning today, but the Chiefs bring that one back. The blue side, finally, we don't have a stat to go by anymore. It's actually back to just whatever it wants to be. The team that was deserving won the game in the end.
Yeah, but we actually have a few replays for you, so we'll walk us through how this game happened. How did the Chiefs get that win?
Yeah, so a few of the big things to note here is actually the Leona pick at all. So Jinx has got the traps down. Keep that in mind. They've made their way here. The teleport from Utapon is ready and available. So we'll roll this one out. Notice that he wastes the death sentence, doesn't connect, immediately turned around, destroys him. Jinx gets excited, and Utapon doesn't really know who to hit. He ends up going for Spooks when Raider's just freely hitting in the background. The heal, of course, saves Spook's life. The charm onto Astaroria may not be intentional, but it was absolutely perfect at the time, was what they were looking for. And again, while Swiffer has made his way into the fight, Raider is just sitting there and freely hitting onto the targets that he would like. And this is something that you will see for the rest of this.
Yeah, that Jinx did so much damage. Radier and Swiffer coming up big as the carries for the Chiefs. It's not just that they're winning, but they're performing so consistently.
Yeah, exactly. This looks like a really refined game from them, up against the one team that managed to beat them as well yesterday. They've turned it back around. They've realized the issues that they had, mostly with drafting, and they've just destroyed.
Yeah, we've actually got another replay ready for you. We're going to bring it up right quick. As you can still tell, it's still a pretty low-kill game, but that doesn't stop the Chiefs from pushing forward.
Yeah, so the Chiefs have started to find a small advantage. The Infinity Edge, Zeal, Berserker Greaves are done for this Jinx compared to just the Trinity Force. Of course, hitting a big spike, but not as big as Raider. We'll roll this one out. Kazu looking for that pick, but Swiffer's found one first. Gets Kazu down really low, actually blows the Lulu ultimate, and this is where they re-engage. Jinx gets excited one more time. Rakinia starts to become a point of focus here, gets zoned away. Utapon, he goes on to Swiffer, who's used everything already. There is no reason to go on that guy. They find another free kill onto Utapon, and they just keep going. The ball keeps rolling. Siros looks like he's going to be the next one to fall down, and it's the Chiefs. They get one kill. They suddenly turn that into many kills. The Leona locking people down. Spooks locking people down again.
Yeah.
This pick comp was really strong from the Chiefs.
Yeah, they talked about it during the cast. That pick comp was exceptional. The Ari, the Elise, and then you've got more than enough time for some Flame Chompers.
Exactly, and it was all about getting someone low from Ari, if not killing them, and then getting the Jinx excited. Once that happens, there is only looking forward for the Chiefs in the rest of that fight. That's what they managed to get happen, and there's a few factors as to why, of course, that actually did happen. Not exactly the best decision-making from the Japanese team.
Yeah, they did make a few mistakes throughout that set. We've got another replay ready for you. It's a little bit later into the game at this point, but poor Rokinia, that guy just cannot catch a break.
No, he really can't. We'll roll this one through, and Utapon is trying his best to engage here. He just goes straight in, immediately onto Raider, doesn't have his Ignite available, and he puts down a whole lot of damage, but they do not kill him. This seems to happen time and again. He really tried Utapon. Siros next in line. Swiffer has really amped up in terms of damage potential right now. It's honestly, a lot of this game was the cheese Olaf.
Yeah, it was such a tricky pick. This is the Olaf you could see right there. And we were in the practice room just watching and saying, boy, don't you wish he had different summoner spells?
Yeah, so Spawn was saying this in the room. He was really enthusiastic about this fact. Is there's two ways you can play the Olaf. And the way that Udapon has chosen to play it, he went Ignite as his summoner spell, which is offensive and says, I'm going to win this lane. I'm going to beat Swiper. Didn't do that. And then he also maxed the E instead of the Q. So by doing so, you have a lot of lane-based trading, but your ganks, your teleport ganks are not as impactful. You cannot just consistently throw axes at everyone and get them down to 0 health. So what we were seeing in that replay we just saw was Udapon trying to teleport and trying to take down Radair. Took him a very long time to actually get to Radair, and when he was there, the Ignite wasn't even available.
Yeah.
The damage that he was putting out was high, but it wasn't consistent and slowing them enough to get the rest of the team there.
Yeah, and it was just such a tricky setup for Udapon to pull it off. I mean, he's had an excellent performance so far, but again, slipping up on the Olaf, sort of tricky scenario for Detonation FocusMe, but the Chiefs playing so well.
Yeah, definitely are. And this is one of the later replays, of course. We'll just roll this one straight through. The Chiefs, they are so far ahead at this point, 19-3. That doesn't really look like there is anything that Detonation FocusMe can do about this. Radair, I mean, consistently getting excited, but it's not just a Radair effort. It's not a one-man team. They've got Swiffer to make all of these picks, and the tanks, Swiper, Ejim, Spooks, one Cocoon is all it takes. They can engage, they can follow that one up, and that's exactly what they did in this game. They find themselves so very far ahead in a game that, honestly, you look at this, and the Chiefs look really strong, but Detonation FocusMe, they just felt like they almost came into this expecting to lose, is the best way to put that, right? And they decided to pick and to play like it was already a losing game. Like they said, the macro strategy we have cannot keep up with that of the Chiefs. So they pick the Olaf, they try and win lanes, and then translate that winning lane into the game. But, of course, they didn't win lanes, and there goes the game.
Yeah, didn't quite follow up with that either. And you've got to wonder for Detonation FocusMe. You know, they're playing a little bit later today in our last game of the day, but after dropping the first 50-minute game and now dropping this game against the Chiefs, they're probably a little demoralized.
You must feel like they're definitely scattered after those two games. They've got a chance to still make it into the finals. They had a very strong day one. They just need to fall back to their jungler because he is an absolute god. Udapon performs well, don't get me wrong, but it's all on the back of Asterore.
Yeah, so we'll certainly see if they can do well later. We're actually going to start moving on to the next game. Chiefs versus Dark Passage are coming up next, and that looks to be a very thrilling match. Chiefs can decide the fate of Dark Passage with this game.
That is exactly right. If the Chiefs win, they are 5-1 for the end of this. But if Dark Passage lose, they're out. They are no longer in contention for the finals, and it's a very important game for Dark Passage, more so than Chiefs, because they've already made it into the finals. So very important coming into this game. Dark Passage need to step up.
Yeah, they certainly do. And let's actually take a look at some of those matchups. I think the most important one that we wanted to hit on was going to be in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. Naru is a force to be reckoned with in that middle lane. Is the shot caller, is the big carry of the team. But Swiffer as well, he has really stepped up. Showed some strength on Victor. Definitely looks strong. But when he gets that Ahri, it is disgusting how good he performs. So you look at this mid lane matchup, it all comes down to how they both perform in laning phase. If Swiffer wins lane, it feels like all of Dark Passage are very scattered from there on out, and they really struggle to actually move around the map. And this is where the Chiefs find their strengths. But if Naru can get going, if he can get the farm, if he can get a Zero as an example, and just get through that early phase, he can shot call for his team. He can be that rock that they look for and genuinely get them to victory.
Yeah, we saw what happened yesterday when Naru takes pressure, the whole team suffers. So we'll have to see if he's able to pull it together in this game, because currently he's going up against arguably the best team in the IWCQ. Currently they're number one in the standings.
No, definitely. They're doing very well. And you have to admit, the biggest factor as to why it didn't work for them yesterday was that Ejim Thresh made their life miserable.
Yeah, well, we're going to throw it back to the guys at the desk to get us into game. Oh, no, we're not
just
doing
kidding.
that.
There's
instead.
a replay.
Yeah, there's another replay.
Yeah, so this is the one from yesterday, of course. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
This is actually how it all started in their last game. A big mistake from the Chiefs. But funnily enough, half of the kills the Dark Passage basically get from that whole game in this one moment. So we'll just start this one out. And Spooks tries to get the parallel convergence down, make that chronosphere and see if there's anybody in the bush, but they walk out too aggressively before it actually connects. Dark Passage just hide on the other side of the red buff. does stun them, but the damage is already done in terms of having a Braum. So keep a special eye on the Braum passive. Finds a stun here from a flash auto. Not only that, it connects with Swiper just after, finds a second stun. And this Dark Passage team comp was not that great at level 1 unless they found a stun from Braum. That's exactly what they found. But a big hiccup from the Chiefs.
Yeah, most certainly with that one. We've actually got another replay, and that was the game where Ejim went huge. He landed hook after hook. It's a little bit later in the game at this point, though.
Yeah, 100%. We'll roll this one out, and Ejim and the rest of Chiefs are just destroying their opponents. Raider doing an underrated amount of damage on that Sivir. He is decimating anyone that gets in a localized area of his auto attacks. Legendary right now for his team. Swiffer got Ari. Time we saw him play Ari, and it was yesterday against Dark Passage. Look at the scoreline, 25-4. Look at last game's scoreline, something absurd also. You do not give Swiffer Ari where he feels the most comfortable and could just run through the team.
Yeah, so much damage. Elwyn's the last one to get caught. Naru played well on that Diana, but just wasn't quite able to keep himself together, keep his team to victory with all the pressure Ejim was putting on the mid lane.
Yeah, rumor has it Naru's still pushing in that bottom lane to this very day. We were yet to see him actually group up with the rest of his team. He was desperate, and this, again, plays into the mentality of Naru, plays into how Dark Passage actually play when he is behind. He picked Diana after he lost to Diana, and then he lost lane, so he started split pushing. No way to shot call for your team if you're on the other side of the lane and you are losing.
Yeah, tricky situation, but now the casters are ready. We're going to toss it back. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Seda and Rusty, and welcome back to the casting desk, everyone. We've got Jake Spawn Tabiri back in. We've got Ryan Fresco and Moss still here on the desk. And the Chiefs, they pushed through to the final